Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome you all to a new League of Legends video. This is going to be another discussion type video where I am going to be talking to you guys about a specific topic, and after you hear all of my points and everything I have to say, I want to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. So with all that being said, the topic of this video is, are assassins dead? So I am most known for playing assassin type champions, and this topic is something I really want to talk about because the new meta, especially in the mid lane, is making things really difficult for players like us. I'm pretty much talking about how overall there are just a lot of annoying ways to shut down assassins, especially in lane due to the new meta in the mid lane. So assassins are supposed to make the games exciting. They're supposed to be very high risk, high reward type champions and their playstyles. However, with the new meta, it makes it very boring and a very bland laning phase, not giving many options to snowball out of the laning phase. Assassins are, of course, all about their burst and potential to snowball, but it is simply just much harder to do that now. And it honestly just requires a lot more work to get the same thing accomplished compared to several patches ago. So the first main topic I want to talk to you guys about is of course the mid meta. So within the current patch and the past few patches that have happened, you've been seeing a lot of champions like Orianna, Soraka, Lulu, Karma, Nidalee, Lissandra, maybe Morgana or Kayle. All of these champions have become so popular to play in the mid lane, and they all more or less fit the same role. They are all very safe champions that is very hard to make a move on, especially for assassins, because one, they're either really safe and they're always in the back for like a Nidalee for instance, or two, they have a lot of shields and or heals or even CC, so Orianna, Soraka, Lulu, Lissandra. But what they all have in common is that they have ways to negate assassins, to negate from the assassin pretty much simply just diving right onto them, putting as much damage as they can and getting the kill. So with all this, of course, it's very hard to snowball from the lane, which is so important from an assassin. If you don't snowball in the lane and if you don't come out strong, if you just come out even or worse, then you simply won't have as much pressure as you need in teamfights in order to kill the squishy targets like the mid laner or the ADC. But then if you take into account how annoyingly tanky someone like an Orianna, Soraka or Lulu can be, or Lissandra in a team fight, then realistically it almost only leaves one champion that you can potentially just simply go on and burst down, and that's most likely going to be the ADC. And only really having one solid option to target within team fights is a real problem. The next thing I want to talk about are the summoner spells, and the first one is going to be the heal. So luckily, it is not as overpowered as it was several patches ago. As the patches went on, the heal got nerfed and nerfed and nerfed until it got to this stage that it is at currently. But that's still not to say that it is bad. Since it was so popular while it was very strong, people really just saw the real potential within the summoner spell. The heal that it provides is just so useful in the mid lane, especially when you're playing champions like I mentioned before, the very safe ones where the heal just simply complements their already safe kits so well. And it really puts all of those champions that I mentioned earlier into a state where they're just so safe mid lane where they can just farm as much as they want, for as long as they want, come out decently strong, and just more or less be an extremely useful person in teamfights for the team. But of course, heal still provides the very useful move speed buff that really is so important for them to use in order to get away and make distance between the assassin and themselves. Which, for myself, an assassin player, is really annoying. So overall, heal is another problem on top of what already exists. Mid champions that are super safe have a lot of shields or CC on top of having a heal summoner spell that just makes it even harder to kill. The next topic that I want to talk about within this video is something I'm a little hesitant to bring up because it's quite honestly not as popular as I think it should be. And this is the summoner spell Exhaust. Exhaust is the true counter to almost every single assassin. The reason is because now it reduces the damage dealt by 50%, literally cut in half, on top of the already move speed and attack speed reduction that it provides. So for instance, take Zed as an example, someone that I'm obviously very known to play. If I use Deathmark on a target, I build it up, I do a lot of damage, and they time their exhaust correctly. It lasts for 2.5 seconds, meaning that they can not only reduce the damage I apply on my Deathmark, but if they again time it correctly, they can have my Deathmark pop on them while the exhaust is still on me, and it'll effectively reduce the full damage that my ultimate does to them in half. Now, I'm sure you can guess that is quite a problem. And this of course does apply to other assassins like Talon, like LeBlanc. And the reason I think Exhaust is so good against assassins is because heal is great, don't get me wrong, but its primary use and effectiveness in my opinion is during the laning phase, where it just really makes assassins have so much trouble to get the kills and to snowball. And late game heal is still great, but it is just I don't think as good. While Exhaust, since it is a % reduction to the damage, attack speed, and move speed, it is always useful whether you use it at level 6 or level 18. So with all of these things being said, I do want to quickly mention that there is, I think, one exception right now. And that exception is the champion Rengar. He's been getting so much popularity recently from a lot of streamers playing this champion and just simply dominating every single person they can. Especially when they jump on the ADCs. The reason he's somewhat of an exception is because Rengar does lane in the top lane primarily, a lane where almost everything I've said so far in this video does not necessarily apply, because the top lane is a lot about dueling. A lot of champions are not going to be running things like Exhaust or heal. So top lane is a lane where the assassin Rengar can potentially snowball. But on top of this, since Rengar almost always does initiate his full burst from his ultimate, which of course puts him in stealth, this makes it almost impossible for you to time your exhaust, especially if you're playing against a Rengar that knows how the burst is done. Because if you've seen many videos or streams or etc., you can see the Rengar literally burst the ADCs down within seconds. Which means by the time you even realize the Rengar is on you and dealing his full burst, his full kit right on top of you, you're pretty much dead and there's no time for exhaust, let alone heal. But again, with that being said, he is probably gonna get nerfed pretty soon. So that is more or less what I want to talk to you guys about in this video. Are assassins dead? Personally, I don't think they're fully dead, but it's just a lot harder to play these assassins. It honestly just requires a lot more work in order to accomplish the exact same thing that would require less work several patches ago. TLDR, they are just simply harder to play. But again, I want to see what you guys think. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think they're dead? Do you think they're not? Do you think it's going to change within the next several patches that will come out? I'm not sure personally, and I want to know what you guys think as well. But again, I don't think they're dead. It's just a lot harder to play. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like it if you did. Follow me on my Facebook and Twitter for updates. And maybe even share it with your friends and see what everyone else thinks about this topic as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you maybe learned something new. And I hope to see you next time. Peace.